Good afternoon. Thank you for those of you that have joined me today on this rather grim day in London. No one told the weather. They're 2 days early that April showers clearly. I'm going to start by saying thank you so much to all of you who are working in schools up and down the country for the exceptional leadership and commitment you've shown over the last week and the weeks leading up to that on behalf of all of us at SSAT. What it's shown us is that schools really are at the heart of the community, and parents are looking to school leaders in this challenging time. Over the next sort of 5 minutes, I'm probably not going to tell you anything that you don't know at all, but hopefully having it all in one place is just quite useful. And there's also the chance to ask questions via the chat option, and I will endeavour to answer any questions that do come in. But of course, if what I do say does prompt any questions or stimulates any discussion, then please do email me afterwards and we can continue this forward. SSAT are here for you. We are here to provide whatever support you need, so please do be in touch. What do we know is happening? Well, we're in week 2 of what is a initial 3-week lockdown. Talking to civil servants who won't put this on record formally, we know that it's likely to continue until September, certainly in terms of school closures. And many of you that I've spoken to over the last week are planning for closures until September. So what does that mean, particularly for our staff, for our pupils, and for the summer exams? So in terms of students, first of all, who we're really supporting, we know that the numbers in schools have been lower than anticipated, and we're really looking at the children of key workers and vulnerable pupils, but lots of those groups themselves have decided to take themselves out of school from what we're hearing from you. If that's not the case, please do be in touch, because certainly that's the evidence that we've received so far. Really sort of obvious things that hopefully again are not new to you, that you're filling in the daily DFE register and sending that back by midday. Just a reminder, there's no requirement, and a reminder for any governors that are online, there is no requirement for schools to be filling in a formal attendance register. If you are continuing to do that, then just use the hashtag symbol for partial or full closure. But there's no statutory requirement to do that at the moment, just that daily table. We know that lots of you are concerned about vulnerable students in particular, and around safeguarding issues, and around students that are on FSM. We are still waiting for details of the FSM guidance around what the national voucher scheme will look like. Just a reminder that the DFE's official guidance around providing free school meals is as follows. First off, you should be in contact with your school meal provider to see if they can either provide a takeaway service or a drop-off service, a delivery service for students on free school meals. Following that, you should look to see if there's any national or charity links that you can join, and that's something that many charities have set up. Our partners at Magic Breakfast are doing their bit, so do be in touch with Magic Breakfast if that's a partnership that you already have as a school. And then thirdly is the government voucher scheme, which will be vouchers in supermarkets between the value of £3 and £5. We're still waiting on the exact detail of how schools reclaim those costs, but if neither of the first two options work for you, then please do buy vouchers, which can either be downloadable e-vouchers or vouchers that you buy as gift cards and give them out to parents of free school meals. Our feeling is it will be closer to the £3 mark than the £5 mark, if that helps for your short-term budgeting. In terms of Students as well, we know a lot of you are investing a lot of time in e-learning platforms and looking at home learning. One piece of advice that we continually hear from head teachers across the network is not to expect a full timetable to be delivered. And certainly, again, the DfE haven't said this, but there is a feeling that they're not expecting the national curriculum to be covered in these extraordinary times. And so, as a general guide, again, what we're hearing from you in the network is that between 2 and 3 hours of structured learning per day, it is about sufficient, maybe slightly more for GCSE and A-level, but that's really focused on revision activities more than new learning. Which brings us to the exams. I mean, quite frankly, we don't know what that's going to look like. We know that students' grades will be based on a teacher assessment and on prior attainment. Our concern at SSAT is that prior attainment won't only be students' prior attainment, but will be schools' performance data in previous years. Of course, performance data will not be published for this summer, but there was some suggestion early on, and we'll see if it plays out, that the predicted grades will be based on schools' own performance over the last time. And our concern is that negatively affects schools that have shown rapid improvement within the last 12 months. So we will see what comes out from the DfE, Ofqual, and the awards and organisations around that. But if that is the case, and if it is based on schools' prior attainment, then absolutely SSAT will have your back on that, and we will fight that tooth and nail to ensure that all students receive the grade that they deserve this summer. The government has said, and Ofqual has said, that students will be able to sit exams if they don't feel they have the grade they deserved as soon as is reasonably possible, potentially in September, or again in a year's time when hopefully the next series of exams continues. So in terms of staff, we know again from talking to many of you over the last week or so that schools are operating different structures of staff. Just a reminder of your statutory duties. At early years and Key Stage 1, there is a requirement to have a certain staff-pupil ratio, and that has been relaxed, but is still formally in place. At Key Stage 2 and above, so for all of the secondary sector, there is no statutory guidance about what your staff-to-pupil ratio should be. The general model that we're finding is either schools operating a skeleton staff or operating a staff that is based on a rotation rota system, where a group of staff work in school for 1 week, are on reserve for a week, and then operate home learning and work from home a week, and then have a week off. Just a reminder, again, that in these extraordinary times, schools are expected to stay open for children of key workers and vulnerable children, including in the upcoming Easter holidays. So if you haven't already talked to people like your support staff and your cleaning staff and your catering staff, there is an expectation that schools are open during the Easter holidays. We know this is taking a real toll on the mental health and well-being of all of us, and of teachers in particular as frontline workers. And our partners at the Chartered College for Teaching have launched Teach Together, a new app which just sends inspiring and positive messages to teachers on a daily basis. So if you haven't sort of become aware of that, please do encourage all of your teachers to sign up for Teach Together, which is sponsored by the Chartered College, and is a really great initiative. So, you know, we know these are really challenging times. We don't know what's going to happen. We're hearing lots about different models of curriculum. What we're hearing most frequently is that a lot of you are offering teaching and curriculum on a weekly basis rather than a daily or a monthly basis. And we feel that's probably the most appropriate solution going forward. Certainly, it's the most manageable in terms of workload, again, linked to the Charter College Initiative, and of course, Teach 5 a Day, set up by Martin Rear, who spoke at the SSAT National Conference a few months ago. One thing that SSAT would want to point out is this is, in some ways, an opportunity for students to develop skills beyond the formal national curriculum. I was speaking to a admissions tutor for an elite university earlier, in fact, last week, who, again, didn't want to be named, didn't want to put it on record, but this tutor was saying one of the things that they're interested in, particularly for older students in the next couple of years, is how they have used this opportunity to develop their own academic interests or to further their own studies. So one thing you might want to encourage, particularly your Key Stage 4 and Key Stage 5 students to do, is think about how they are using this time to develop themselves. And that is a question, I think, that interviewers at HE and FE are likely to ask as we go forward. It seems a very long way off, and of course, we just don't know what's going to happen, but it is worth bearing in mind that's the type of question that might be asked. I'm almost certain that educational inequality is going to grow during this period, so the more we can do to mitigate it, the better. And I think encouraging students to think in that way, how they could use this time, is one such way in which we can mitigate it. I'm sure that I've not said anything this afternoon that you don't already know or is not on your radar, but if you do have any questions, please do put it in the chat and I will try and answer them directly to you by email. I'm conscious that you are all very busy people, but also please do be in touch to say how we can support you, because we really, really want to. We are here for you. We will do whatever we can to make your lives easier. That is our role at the School Students and Teachers Network. So please either email me directly on tom.middlehurst@ssatuk.co.uk or your relationship manager at rmteam@ssatuk.co.uk. Wishing you a very glorious afternoon and hopefully a better month in March. Thank you very much.